Hello everybody, it's Logan here from LoganTube HD Entertainment, and welcome to the first video of 2023. Now, as I said in my last video of 2022, it was a part 1, part 2. I am no longer doing Chipmunk content, so if you're here for that, I'm very sorry to disappoint you. I'm no longer doing that, and to say it in a simple way for kids, I'm changing my channel. The way I'd like to say it, I'm restructuring my channel. So I'm very excited to, I'll say more at the end of the video, but I'm very excited to do this video, and there's more to come. But this is my top 10. These are at least the ones that I could remember, or I thought I like played hours on end with when I was a kid. So my top 10 childhood toys. So without further ado, let me get right into it because I'm going to have a blast talking about these. So number 1 was is this, I have no idea what it's called. Oh, and by the way, it will pop up right here. Hopefully this side of the screen. Hopefully I don't put it over my head. Probably not. Magic of editing, right here. But this McDonald's toy, I played hours with this thing. This thing was the absolute best. I loved this thing. So, I remember how much time I spent playing with this thing. It was so much fun. I mean, using your, it was me and my brother using our imaginations, just playing with the food. It was such the best toy. But tell me in the comments down below if you remember this toy. Oh, by the way, I'm a 2000s kid, so all of these toys are from the 2000s, and I will make some details of some of these toys, and some of them not so much because it's like some of these are probably forgotten. It's like, this is a random one, this McDonald's toy, but it's a very beloved toy that I played hours on end with when I was a kid. So, oh, and you know what? Let's start from number 10. I can't believe I just did that. So number 10 to number 1. So this is number 10. Number 9. So I loved Little People, the Fisher Price toys. Little People, all you parents probably know what I'm talking about. But as a kid, the toy industry has come a long way since then. So it's crazy saying that. It's been around forever. But there was this castle, and I had tons of Little People, but this one in particular I played with for hours on end. Using my imagination, I loved this toy in particular, and it will show up on the screen right there. And I loved it. I loved it. There's another one I'm going to show you, but I'm still counting it as number 9 because it's also Little People. But this one I just loved. I remember I played with this one for so long. Like, I spent hours with this castle, and I loved it. It was the best. There's the inside of it as well. It was just so much fun. So, this is the other one. This is the bus. And I loved this bus. I remember, I honestly probably played with it as much as I played with the castle. And I don't know what was so special about this Buzz that I played with it so much, but just these two pieces in general, I remember I played with so much in other than the other pieces. These were the two pieces I played with the most. And again, I had a lot of Little People. But I loved these two the most. And I think they still make this bus. They don't make the castle anymore. I checked. I checked. I did my research on these toys. They still make the bus, but it looks a lot different. It looks a lot different than what you see in the picture. But yeah, I loved this thing so much as a kid. Number 8 has to be this Play-Doh set. Now, this has been something that has been passed on through generations. It is just, I feel like saying that the simpler, the better. But this was my favorite Play-Doh set as a kid. I totally forgot about it for a while, but I remembered, and I played with this so much. It passed the time, and it's such a simple Play-Doh set, but they still make it today, and kids absolutely love it. Over all the like complex like character Play-Doh sets and all that they produce, like this one is so simple and kids love it. It's like, let's go back to the base. Kids love this over like all those complex Play-Doh set stuff. It's so funny. But yeah, it looks a little different than what I remember, because of course they have to make changes. But still just the simple set that it was back then. But yeah, I think nothing's changed, because with the thing that you can squeeze, you could always squeeze different shapes out of the thing, and it was just so satisfying, I think. And that was and they also had the little roller thing, as you can see in the picture, and that was so satisfying. And that kept me entertained for hours on end. I'm gonna have to have number 7 be the Leap Pad from Leapfrog. I totally forgot the company name for a second. I am so sorry. This was very early on when I was a kid. Very early on. And I love this thing. Sorry I don't have like an inside picture, but I couldn't find one. But I love this thing to death. I took it everywhere. It was like the same thing as I drew everywhere as a kid. I drew stuff on sticky notes everywhere, and I loved it just as much. I remember it was the best. I mean, if you didn't have this thing, which I know not every kid did, but I loved it. It was a great way of entertaining yourself, and I just loved it so much. Number 6, sorry, I had to just think there for a second, is something that came later, but is from Leapfrog, and it is one of their greatest, probably, products that they've ever produced. I loved it to death. And I consider this, because I'm gonna have a future video of like retro or like the gaming or technology that I grew up with. I haven't really thought of it yet, but anyway, I considered this more of a toy. And this is the Leapster, and I loved this to death. I had so many cartridges for it, if you do not remember this, if you're a 2000s kid, if you did not have this, comment down below, because I loved this thing so much. And you could take pictures with it if you like. It was like I don't really know how to explain it, but you could take pictures with it, and there's different games. So the camera was like a separate thing, and you put it in the slot where you put the games in the slot. So yeah, it was the best. I had it for the longest time. And here's another picture of it too. So you can see in the cartridge that's where the camera would go in, and that's where the games would go in. And then it also had a pen with it too, because you could draw with it. And I think it also had a built-in drawing app, so you could draw art with it. Yeah, it was the best. And also I looked up online, and it is not that much to buy. I don't know if that means I would have to look up, but I didn't look it up. I don't know if that means they still produce it, or it's just really cheap. It's not worth that much, and it's really cheap to buy. And even Walmart is selling it, so I'd have to look up if that means they're still making it. And I have to make number 5 one of the best things. This came later in my childhood, but this was when I was in middle school, and everybody knows this if you're a 2000s kid, the rave that was going on in middle school. Silly bands. I had so many on my arm. I mean, it was sort of similar to the craze of fidget spinners. There were so many. There was like dinosaurs, there was palm trees, there was peace signs, there was just simple circles, there was animals, butterflies. There is so much, and basically it's just rubber bands, just in shapes of different things. And everybody was wearing them on their wrist. Some people had a whole sleeve, some people had just like 4 or 5, some people only like had 2. I had tons of them, and they were awesome. There were also those things, I wasn't as into them, but there was those rainbow looms, or those things that I think they were called rainbow looms. I wasn't into those as much, but I loved silly bands. I was so into them. So yeah. Number 4 is going to be one of my favorite things that I had in my childhood. Actually, I didn't actually have them, but I loved them more than Legos. I know that seems crazy, but I don't even think they make them anymore. I tried looking it up, and there was like old pictures of the boxes, and I couldn't find any new pictures, like new updated designs. And I couldn't actually find the name of them too, but this is what they looked like. If anybody knows what the name of these are, please comment down below, because I couldn't find the name of it. I totally forget the name of them, but I loved them as a kid. A friend we had when we were kids, me and my brother, had them at their house, and I would spend hours on like building stuff. You could build all sorts of stuff with them. They were basically like Legos, but just different. They were plastic, and they were awesome. You could build huge stuff. They were basically like Legos, but not as expensive. And they were awesome. I spent hours building stuff with them. They were the best. Yeah, I built all sorts of stuff with them, and I just love them. And please, anybody, please, if you remember the name of these things, I could not find anything that said the name of them. If you remember the name of them, please comment down below, because I'd love to know. Okay, so on to number 3. We're getting down to my top 3 picks here. So number 3 is going to be the Easy Bake Oven. So tell me if you remember the Easy Bake Oven, because this thing was the best. I absolutely love this thing. And this is why it's my number 3 pick here. And I loved like making all the tiny things you can make with it. And there were so many different recipes, and it was awesome. So yeah, there's not much to say about it, but I loved it. It was a great, brilliant invention for the toy industry, and I absolutely loved it. I wouldn't say I spent hours with it, but me and my mom totally baked tons of things with it. So I loved it. My number 2 pick is one when early on in my childhood, and that is some of you might remember this picture here, this toy set of Playmobil, and it is the Playmobil shop or store. It's called one of those, and we had this set. I had tons of Playmobil as well. I love Playmobil, and this was my favorite one. I remember it like it was yesterday. I splayed, oh my god, I can't talk, guys. I played with this thing. English. I'm not editing that out. I played with this thing hours on end. I loved all the tiny drinks, the food. You can just, the groceries, and just using your imagination for all of it. It was the best. I just loved it. It was my favorite Playmobil toy. I spent hours playing with it. It was the absolute best. Of course, it's discontinued, but you can get it on eBay, and I think some other places too. And I don't think it's that much. I would have to check that again. Don't actually don't quote me on that, because I may be wrong on that. It may be worth a decent amount of money. I would have to double check that. But guess what it is? Time for my number 1 pick. And what may that be? I don't know why I just did that. It's everybody's favorite childhood toy. Well, not everybody's, but there actually is something similar to this that was like every 2000 kids' favorite childhood toy. It was either literally this or the other thing that I was too lazy to look up what it was, but I will actually put it in a picture of it in the video. So it is Beyblade is my number 1 pick. I think this thing was just fascinating to kids, because the original Beyblades from the 2000s are so much different than what we have now, because it's like they had voodoo magic. Voodoo magic, I swear, voodoo magic. If you spin those things right, they would just keep spinning. It was so fascinating. You would just be like, basically. It's like, what is this magic? It was like, is this legit? Is this real? It just kept on spinning, and just kept on going. It was like, it's like no kid cared about like going one-on-one with their Beyblades. It's like, I just cared about spinning that thing and just watching it go. It would just go, and keep on going. It was like, is this for real? It was magic. It was so fascinating. And the other thing that I'm going to pop up right now, so you can see it, tell me in the comments down below what those are, because I did not spend the time looking that up, but they were similar. You just flip them, and every time they would just stand up straight, no matter what. And that's why kids loved them back then just as much as Beyblade. I mean, these were the top 2 toys that probably made millions and millions of dollars in the toy industry back then, because of this one reason. It was like, whatever they did, it was like voodoo magic, and kids were just so fascinated about it. It's like, how is it so that this toy, it was like a little, and it was like it was like in the shape of a minion basically, but it was very tiny. Not the Beyblades, but the other one. And you just flip it, it'd go flipping a couple times, but every single time it'd stand up straight. It's like, what is this magic? And then the Beyblade, it just kept on spinning. It's not like a regular basic everyday top. You spin that, it spins for like 20 seconds or 10 seconds, depending on the spin you got, and then it stops. This thing would spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. It just keep on spinning. You think it's gonna stop, but it keeps on spinning. It was the best thing. And to be honest, some of them are worth a lot of money now, and I regret getting rid of them. I literally do. To this day, I regret it. So that's pretty much it. And if you stayed to the end of the video, thank you guys so much. Leave a like if you liked the video. And this is, I really enjoyed making this video, and tell me if you want similar content like this in the future here, and if you want my channel to go in this direction. I was wanting to do like a similar video, but like instead of this, I talk about my top 10 favorite childhood like video games that I grew up with. Or it can be like video games, consoles. So it's more like I have this idea of like leading into this retro channel and more away from the chipmunk scene and more into this retro toys. But at the same time, I just want to tell you guys, it's not going to be like a kids channel. It's family friendly, but at the same time, it's aimed towards all ages. I want to make it fun for all ages, like I always have, and still make it fun for everybody. So if you liked the video, thank you once again for staying tuned to the end of the video. If you liked it, once again, leave a like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video I leave. And ending on that, please check out my community tab, because I'm going to leave a poll asking people, do you want my icon to stay the face of me, or do you want me to create like a logo like EvanTube HD has, similar to that? Not like similar to like what his logo is. I'm just saying like a similar concept to that. So yeah, if you want to go check that out, I don't have it out right this second, but it's going to be probably put up there pretty soon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Bye.